I think we're all going to be appalled when we understand the full extent of what it was they were willing to do to overthrow the 2020 election, because the Detroit News has gotten hold of a bunch of Kenneth Cheesebros messages, including this one from January 4th, 2 days before the Capitol riot. It's a photo of him in front of the Capitol with the message, "I've opted not to storm the Capitol, at least not this day." Other messages indicate that they had planned very early on to pull Mike Pence and put Chuck Grassley in his place, and that immediately following the insurrection, they are the ones who started spinning the yarn that it was Antifa who breached the Capitol and that Capitol Police let rioters in. Now, don't forget, Queso Hermano is cooperating with authorities in a number of jurisdictions after he pled guilty in Georgia, so that spells really, really bad news for people like Boris Epshteyn, who has now been indicted in Arizona and who has been making appearances at Trump's criminal trial in New York. On December 13th, he sent Boris this text message talking about the president of the Senate counting the votes, and he says, maybe not Pence, maybe he recuses and it's Grassley or the next person in line who is willing to do this. And also don't forget that on January 5th, the day before the vote count, Chuck Grassley said that he would be presiding over the vote count if Mike Pence didn't show up. His team then quickly turned around and said, no, we mean Mike Pence is totally expected to be there. And then also don't forget that Mike Pence refused to get in a car with the Secret Service because he knew that they were going to take him away from the Capitol. I think we are going to find out that they had a contingency plan for sure of getting Mike Pence out of there and putting Chuck Grassley in. On December 25th, Eastman texts him and says, is Pence really likely to be on board with this? And Epshteyn says, let's take this off a text for now. I think our options are clear. And then 4 days later, on December 29th, he texts Boris and John Eastman and says that the problem is that some of these Republicans are not going to vote for Trump. And Eastman says, so Pence. And Epshteyn says, yep, Pence. And text like this is probably why Cheesebro pled guilty and is now cooperating, is because in the text message, he specifically says that doing this allows us to flip states, not just tie them up to deny them to Biden. If we can get a win in one of our courts and get the Georgia legislature to a point there, because there was no court to review, we could lose Nevada and New Mexico and deny any counting of votes on one or two others and still get a majority. And then on January 7th, he texts Epshteyn again saying that they need to do damage control and says that maybe all of Trump's surrogates are in hiding, but it would be nice if they would get across that without Antifa actually breaching the Capitol, plus Capitol security doing the things that they did, the scene at the Capitol would have been entirely peaceful. In other words, they began spinning a fake narrative to cover for what they had done. Like I said, I think all of us are going to be hard. Well, I say all of us. I mean the half of us that are actually going to give a damn. But I think all of us, even the ones who have expected to hear these types of things, are really going to be shocked when we understand the full complexity of what they were willing to do. I suspect, obviously, Roger Stone was intimately involved with ensuring that the Capitol itself got breached via his association with the Proud Boys and so on and so forth. So, as more of this stuff comes out, of course, I will be here in absolute horror telling you about it. So, like and follow for more.